Can you afford the 2026 Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing? Well, for this video, I have built 3 different models. We're going to be running numbers on all 3 of them, but stay tuned until the end of this video where I'm also going to be running simulations on pre-owned CTS-Vs and the CT5-V Blackwing certified pre-owned model. This is because a subscriber of mine has requested that he would also like to see numbers on used models, so we will be looking at that in a moment, but let's get started with the 2026. So I built 3 different models, a pretty low spec manual, which stickers for about $104,925. Then I built like a middle spec automatic for around $114,000. Then a high spec automatic with the precision package, which that precision pack alone is like 18 grand. So this high spec model ended up being around $137,000. Now, we don't really have any incentivized programs, deals, or anything like that because this is a top of the line performance Cadillac. So number one, I looked at the lease programs through AutoCompanion's free leasing calculator. I'll have a link to this down in the description box, but essentially I'm not going to waste too much time on the lease because it's awful. Not just for the 2026, but also for the 2025 CT5-V Blackwing because the interest rate on the lease is just too high. It's like 7%, so not even worth considering. But AutoCompanion's calculator, it's very powerful. It's still something that you should take a look at because it also shows you all of the incentives that you can get in your local zip code. And as you can see, the special Costco program that is not available for the Blackwing, but anytime something does become available, AutoCompanion's calculator will update every month, so it's definitely worth taking a look at. But yeah, it's like over $2,000 a month with no money down to lease the CT5-V. Not worth it. So next, let's look at the financing. Well, there's no promotional finance rate either from Cadillac themselves, so we have to find our own interest rate. I like to use PenFed. It's pretty much available to everyone. You just have to put $5 into a savings account and you're automatically a member. They have 4.79% for 60 months, so that's what we're going to roll with for all of these examples. We're also going to stick with Pennsylvania as the example state. We're going to use $1,994 for the title, registration, and other fees. We got those numbers from AutoCompanion's calculator. And for all 3 of these vehicles, I'm also going to be applying a $5,000 discount to all 3 models. Why am I doing that? Well, first of all, I don't think anybody should be paying sticker price for any vehicle. There are some dealerships, not all, but a select few that are offering some discounts, so that's good to see, but that's primarily going to be on the 2025s. This is a 2026. Dealerships are going to be less inclined to give you a discount, but if you go to a website like JD Power, you can see the invoice price of a vehicle, and on a entry-level base model Blackwing, there's about a $5,000 difference between invoice to MSRP. Most dealerships should not really have an issue selling you a vehicle at invoice, even if this is a top-of-the-line performance vehicle. Plus, as you go up in MSRP, the discrepancy between MSRP to invoice increases, so I'm just going to apply $5 grand off the MSRP on all 3 models that I built. So plugging everything into calculator.net, an entry-level manual that I built, it's going to have a monthly payment of around $2,026. For the mid-spec automatic, $2,211 per month, and for the top-of-the-line automatic with the precision package, we're at $2,671.62. Now, of course, all of these numbers, they are estimates. In fact, things like interest rates, lease programs, incentives, all of these things, they can change every month, but this video should still serve as a good guide moving forward. And also, none of this is financial advice. All of this is for entertainment purposes. Now, to determine how much income you need to earn in order to comfortably afford this vehicle, there is a article by Kelley Blue Book that states your car payment plus your insurance and your fuel, it should not exceed more than 10 to 20% of your net monthly income. So many people, they ask me where I get 10 to 20% from. Well, it's from this Kelley Blue Book article. So I went ahead and I did a quick Google search to see what the average insurance cost is for a CT5-V Blackwing, and the Google AI, it just spat out between $3,000 to over $5,000 per year. And sure, there are some people being quoted that much and even paying that much. And obviously insurance rates, it's going to vary drastically depending on where you live, how old you are, what your driving history is. But it's really when you start digging into the forums where you see how much people are truly paying. Now, I was looking at some forum post from 2023. I know it's about 2 years old, but still, it gave me a pretty good idea. I've noticed that a lot of people who are on the USAA insurance plan end up paying a lot more money. Sure, in the past, maybe they were good, but nowadays I'm noticing that a lot of people on USAA are paying just too much money in insurance. Some of the cheapest insurance rates that I've seen are from people who have just everything bundled together, right? Either through State Farm, Allstate, doesn't matter. You know, maybe they have a few vehicles, they have a house, perhaps a rental property, an umbrella policy, maybe some term insurance, and they have everything kind of bundled together and they end up paying far less in insurance. In some cases, like $1,500 per year with a reasonable deductible. So perhaps if you're single and you're renting an apartment or something and you don't have many policies, yeah, you might be paying $2-3 grand per year in insurance. But even still, even if you are a renter, maybe you can get something like, you know, renter's insurance to protect your belongings, perhaps like a cheap term insurance, and you can bundle a few things and maybe you can get a discount that way. So I would try that and see if your rate goes down, because sometimes when you get more policies, your overall insurance cost might actually go down. That's something to consider. But number two, you should always try to shop around as well. Anyway, for this example, I actually just went with $200 per month for the insurance on this, which is $2,400 per year. Regarding fuel estimates are pretty expensive, about $4,500 per year. This is a supercharged V8 after all, and it's not like a typical sports car like a Corvette. People are actually going to be piling up some miles on the CT5-V because it's a 4-door sedan. Many sources are estimating over $300 per month for fuel. I just stuck with $300 flat. Some people drive more, some people drive less, some people have a Costco membership. Regardless, just to keep it simple, $300 per month and $200 for the insurance. That's $500 a month right there. I mean, for some people, that's a car note in and of itself. So your total monthly finance cost for the low spec manual, it's gonna be about $2,500 per month with everything included. For the mid spec auto, about $2,700 a month. And for that high spec automatic Blackwing, we're at over $3,100 per month. Keep in mind, we put no money down for all of these simulations. Why? Well, the whole point of leasing or financing a vehicle is to preserve your capital, and it's not to blow it all at once on a rotting, depreciating liability. With these videos, there's always those individuals that casually say, oh, just pay cash for it, as if the cash just rains out of the sky effortlessly. Okay, I got something for you. I'm saving that a little bit later on. I'll talk about what the net worth needed is to comfortably afford a 6-figure vehicle like the Blackwing, so I got you covered. But for right now, for these payments to be 20% of your net monthly income, you got to be bringing in between $12,000 to over $15,000 per month for this to be 20% of your net monthly income. For this to be 10% of your net monthly income, you got to be bringing in between $25,000 for the low spec manual to $31,716.20 to comfortably afford a top-of-the-line precision package Blackwing CT5-V. Yeah, definitely some depressing numbers right here. Sure, you can extend the term to like 72 months, 84 months, make this more affordable. I obviously don't like doing that because you're just paying a boatload of interest and it's not really good practice. Heck, there's actually something known as the 24-10 rule, which states that you should put 20% down, finance for 4 years, and it should be 10% of your income. I don't really think that's necessary. I think nothing down, 60 months is okay with a reasonable interest rate like what we saw with PenFed, and somewhere between 10 to maybe like 15% net monthly income would be okay. But regardless of how you look at it, the numbers are not good here. And this is with a $5,000 discount applied to all 3 models. But as promised, I did run some numbers on used high-performance Cadillacs, ranging from just $16,000 all the way up to $87,000 for a certified pre-owned model. Let's start with that $16,000 vehicle that I found. It's a 2005 CTS-V with 100,000 miles. Keep in mind, none of the CTSs are going to have any warranty coverage on it at all. So with this $16,000 vehicle, you're getting a 20-year-old car with 100,000 miles with no warranty. Great. And now We're also going to be paying more money in interest because this is a used vehicle. The interest rate has gone up. We're going to be sticking with PenFed because they seem to have some of the best interest rates for new and used, and just about anyone can apply and become a member. So they got 5.49% for 60 months. We're still going to go with zero money down for the finance. And for 60 months, that $16,000 vehicle, it's going to finance for $361.85. Not bad. And we're still going to be using the same insurance and fuel costs. So your total monthly finance cost for the $16,000 vehicle, it's going to be $861.85. You got to be bringing in between $4,300 to $8,600 per month in net monthly income to afford this $16,000 vehicle. Yeah, that's gross, and it just gets worse from here. I ran numbers on a 2010 CTS-V with 55,000 miles. It's about 35 grand. Total monthly finance costs with insurance and fuel, $1,246.46. You got to be bringing in over $6,000 to over $12,000 per month in net monthly income to comfortably afford the 2010. Then I ran numbers on a 2016 CTS-V with 21,000 miles on it. Price on it, $61,000. Total monthly finance cost, over $1,700 per month. You got to be bringing in over $8,800 to over $17,000 per month to comfortably afford a 2016 CTS-V. Finally, a certified pre-owned CT5-V Blackwing with 18,000 miles, 2023. It's got a price of $87,818. This is the only vehicle to come with some warranty coverage. It's going to have a total monthly finance cost of $2,315 per month. You have to be producing over 11 grand to over $23,000 per month in net monthly income to afford a CPO Blackwing. Yeah, when people see these disgusting numbers, this is why a lot of people just end up saying, yeah, just give me a new car. I don't even care if it has less power or whatever the case might be, because you still have to be bringing in a considerable amount of money to have the privilege of driving an old, decrepit Cadillac with no warranty coverage. In fact, I remember driving a older CTS-V. I forgot how many miles it had, either 80,000 or 100,000 miles. And the door panel trim, I mean, it was just coming off. It was just a completely gross interior. Some of these GM products, they do not age well. So a lot of people, they say, oh, always buy used and always pay cash. That's easy to say with your mouth, but once you actually run the numbers and you look at the reality of the situation, to own this old performance vehicle with no warranty, with a disintegrating interior space, people really don't want to put up with that. Some people do. I mean, everybody's taste is totally different, but obviously, this used car, it's not free. Regardless, those are your numbers, and for those pay cash folks, I got something for you. So many sources say that a vehicle should not be more than 5 to 10% of your net worth. So if you're gonna be paying cash for a car, the new 2026 CT5-V that I built out, it's between 104,000 to 137 grand. You gotta have a net worth of $1 million to $1.3 million to pay cash for this vehicle, for this to be 10% of your net worth. For this to be 5% of your net worth, you gotta have, between $2 million to $2.6 million net worth to comfortably afford paying cash for a CT5-V Blackwing, a 2026. And even for the used models, right? A $16,000 CTS-V, about $160K in net worth. For the $35K, $350,000 net worth. For the $61,000 used CTS-V, 610 grand, and for a certified pre-owned Blackwing, over $870,000 in net worth to comfortably pay cash for it. Now, something else I wanted to bring up, it's going to be the fact that, if you're going to be financing a vehicle, you're going to have the thing paid off in 5 years or whatever the loan duration is. So after you're finished paying off the vehicle, you no longer have a payment, right? So some might be thinking to themselves, oh, you might not need to produce such a ridiculously high income to properly afford these vehicles because you're just going to struggle for that first 5 years to pay it off. But once you have the vehicle paid off, you don't have to worry about the payment. But something that most people are not considering is after 5 years, you effectively have a paid off car that has absolutely no warranty coverage. Okay. And that's typically also when the repairs start to pile up and also when the expensive maintenance starts to occur. Okay, so what most individuals do is they actually just end up trading in their vehicle once they have it paid off. This is what a lot of dealerships and car brokers have informed me about. Even when somebody pays off a vehicle, they end up just trading it in anyway and getting a newer vehicle. So that paid for car, it doesn't really last long. And with all of these disposable new cars, that's just what people end up doing. They don't want to be on the hook for these repair costs once they have the vehicle paid for. So they just end up either leasing new cars or they just end up trading into a new car every time they have it paid for. So they're really always going to be in a perpetual car payment cycle no matter what. If you want to be able to properly afford these vehicles, you do have to make such a high income, especially if you want to constantly drive six-figure cars like this. And the whole point of these figures that Kelley Blue Book mentioned, like 10 to 20% of your net income, they have that guide there so you can comfortably afford the vehicle and so that the car doesn't own you. Same thing with the net worth estimates, 5 to 10% of your net worth. These are rotting, depreciating liabilities. You shouldn't have so much of your money tied into it. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, none of this is like my personal opinion. This is just sound advice that's floating around on the internet. So there you go. Those are your numbers. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. If you are going to be going through with the used car purchase, I do have some resources that I can share with you. Some of the best used car warranties that I've heard of. It's going to be Fidelity, Route 66, Freedom, and Portfolio. I'm guessing a warranty on a used CTS, it's going to be like $3 to $5 grand. Who knows? Depending on the coverage you get. Make sure to always get a bumper to bumper warranty if you are truly interested, and make sure it's a prorated warranty. So that way, if you decide to sell the vehicle early, let's say you paid $4 grand for a warranty and it's for 4 years and you end up selling the car in 2 years, you should be able to get a refund back for $2,000. That's what I mean when I say prorated. If you're putting no money down on a finance or a lease, you should get something known as gap insurance to protect you if, God forbid, the vehicle gets totaled. The gap insurance will essentially, quote unquote, cover the gap between the value you paid and the value that the insurance company puts onto the car during the time of the accident, so you're not underwater or anything. Third thing I can mention regarding insurance, I've heard of something known as the National Corvette Museum Insurance. They seem to be pretty good for performance vehicles, and they have something known as agreed value coverage. So they will cover the full price of the vehicle that you actually paid. Some people say it's unnecessary, but it's nice to have the agreed value coverage for sure. Disclaimer though, I am not affiliated with any of these companies, none of the warranty companies, none of the insurance companies. I am affiliated with AutoCompanion, but right now I just showed you his free leasing calculator. That's free to use. But the reason why I'm affiliated with AutoCompanion is because he's one of the largest car brokers. I usually mention him in videos to help my audience save money on new vehicles. Obviously with a Blackwing, he can't really help you there. That's why I didn't talk about his service. But yeah, his calculator is free to use though. But anyway, going back to National Corvette Museum Insurance, I believe they want you to have a daily driver as well, not just a sports car, if they are going to insure you. And I don't think it works out for everyone, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention in case the insurance companies that you're working with are not giving you a reasonable price. Anyway, I just wanted to share all that with you, add some value to this video. If you appreciate this content, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.